What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Damachi, and we're talking today about 7th Zone. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have just only now come up with a team that can actually beat Fire Zone, and you can kind of look here at the team and go, what? Yes, all my assists are MLB'd, and I'm going to be honest with you, I actually beat this with a +4, the Hestia there on the very, very, very beginning. I only MLB'd her recently because I realized Wargame is coming up tomorrow. I'm going to need her for Wargame. There's no reason to be holding out when I have a Prism bonded, so I just made it happen. I'll talk about the differences in Belle's damage when we get in there. We'll differentiate, but the long and the short of it is I just kind of did that. I kind of wish I'd kept her +4 for the video, but I digress. That said, as I always say, if you're going to go after assists, you need to MLB those assists. Hey, cut it out. I don't know why my HDMI suddenly started to act up, and it's been good all afternoon. There we go. Good times that. Those of you that have been following that saga, the good news is I am taking the phone in this week to the service finally. Fingers crossed we finally get this crap fixed. But either way, let's get down to the team. Line has the AOE Hestia assist. AOE Hestia assist is going to give us 15% extra damage on all of our AOE attacks. We have Belle. Belle is going to be a main hitter. This is the forget the name of him, but anyway, Sword Unleashed Belle. He is going to be our main hitter, and obviously because he's a physical type unit, I have the Artemis assist on him. Artemis assist is going to give him 20% extra damage, and she has the highest strength stat in the game. I also have Winter Chigusa on this team. Now, Winter Chigusa is going to give us 100% SA gauge increase every time she hits. There is something to be said for putting Chigusa on the end and having her come in later in the game so that Haruhime has 33%, but either way, we're not getting in that. You get the same number of SAs out of it, you just get slightly closer towards the end of having another SA with it, but you don't actually get the SA. It just teases you by the end of it. So having Chigusa here at the beginning means she gets all the benefits of all the buffs and debuffs that we're getting. It's pretty straightforward reasoning for having her on there. Now, I do have the new Freya assist on her. And the reason I have Freya assist, Freya has 100% ailment resistance. Now, every unit here should have some kind of stun resistance with the exception of Line. She's going to use the swap anklet and leave after turn 1. Goblin Slayer's going to have the swap anklet and leave after turn 2. We'll get to him in a moment. But because Freya is 100% ailment resist, I can use my fully ascended breastplate on Chigusa so that she's just taking his little... Alright, calm down there, you. Calm down. Good grief. The HDMI is in a bad mood. Which is hilarious. It's working great for like 2 hours now. Anyway. So Chigusa is going to have the most defense possible. The most defense I can possibly give her because she's got no bonds. She's level 60. She's only got 3 purple stars. The goal here is just to basically make sure that she survives this. That's the big deal. So she's going to get 100% SA gauge increase. Everybody else, with the exception of this Haruhime, is going to get 33% from Line, obviously. And then we've got Winter Haruhime. Now, Winter Haruhime is going to have a lot of hats to wear in this fight. She's going to be adding a protective buff to everybody. She's going to be adding MP restoration to everybody. She's going to be removing debuffs on Belle. She's going to be doing a lot. She's going to be a very busy unit in this. And I, of course, have the Casino Seer assist on her because Casino Seer is going to increase the SA gauge another 100%. So if you want to math it out, Haruhime, who's about to be first place, is going to have no SA gauge increase. Belle's going to have 33%. Chigusa's going to have 100%. Winter Haruhime is going to have 133%. Now, there's, once again, a way to do that to increase the SA gauge a little more, but you don't get an extra SA by the end of it, so it's not really relevant. Now, Line leaves after turn 1. Goblin Slayer comes in. Now, Goblin Slayer is sporting the free-to-play, and unfortunately, our EU friends might not have this unit. I don't think you guys do. The Midsummer Maiden Aina. I believe she was from the free-to-play summer event last year. She is time-limited, but she does water resist minus 15%. So she's going to come in with Goblin Slayer and debuff water. Then I've got the free-to-play. And these are completely free-to-play. These are units that are in the event exchange. Freya, Swimsuit Freya assist. And she's going to come in and she's going to add water and penetration rate plus 10%. I wish I had one of the units that increased water 15%, but I just simply do not. Also worth noting with Goblin Slayer, something that would make my life so much easier is if I had the Invincible Tsubaki unit. Invincible Tsubaki will reduce physical resist and water resist 30%. Unfortunately, I do not have her. So I'm going to use Goblin Slayer to reduce physical resist 30%, and that's the best we're going to have. But let's go ahead and get this started. 30%, 33% SA gauge charge. We're going to do a debuff with Bell. Oh my goodness, could you calm down? Chill it out there. We're going to do the 100% SA gauge charge with Chigusa. This is like not even watchable at this point. Come on. I'm going to need you to just cool it tonight. Oh my goodness. I adore this phone. But Samsung, I'm going to need your quality control to be just a little bit better on these very, very, very expensive computers that everybody has. Oh my goodness. So we're going to do 33% with Chigusa, 30% debuff with Bell. We're going to do 100% SA gauge charge with Chigusa. I think Line Chigusa. And we're going to do a physical resistance buff with Winter Haruhime. That physical resistance buff is going to be absolutely crucial. So we'll get to that here in a moment. All right. So all that said and done, here we go. Turn 2, Goblin Slayer is going to do his command lead. We're going to do Cold Rush with Bell. We're going to do Ice Blade with Chigusa. And we're going to do Silver Snow with Winter Haruhime. Now, we're going to do a double SA on turn 6 with OG Haruhime and Bell. Basically, until then, we're not really worried about the debuffs that these units can produce. So we're just going to kind of keep spamming these 3 events over and over and over again. Okay? Now, let's see here. Do we have any buffs or debuffs that are falling off? I don't believe so, but let's double check. Magic Resist. So the Magic Resist and Physical Resist is falling up, but I'm not worried about that. That'll be fine. We're going to do Akane, and we'll actually do Snow Illusion one more time to rebuff that. Okay? So we'll keep that going. Cold Rush and Ice Blade for both Bell and Chigusa respectively are going to keep going. The main reason for that is just get every bit of damage we can. Okay. Now turn 4, we could do an SA with with Haruhime, but I'm going to go ahead and do Yosuga. I think it's going to be a little more prudent. Plus, it's going to keep... We've got a few things that are start falling off here shortly, so we're going to keep that going. And I really think doing the double SA is going to be way, way, way more important. Way more important. All right. Now, it looks like we should have a double SA coming up, but we won't. It's going to be really close. It's going to be right on the edge. The only way to eke that over would rob us of some of the damage we need to produce, so it's not worth. All right. On this turn, we're going to go ahead and do Yosuga one more time, Cold Rush, Ice Blade, and we're going to do Dancing Snow because we need to keep an eye out for debuffs. If the dragons do their debuff on this turn, we need it gone. We absolutely need it gone. Sorry, my nose is suddenly itching. All right. Perfect. So, Bell is not debuffed. That's great, great news. You would know because it'd be down here at the very, very bottom. And if you're one of these people that watches the icons, there would be the S and the M icon. No, that's not what that means. It means strength and magic, you pervert. They would have an S and M with a red arrow going down instead of blue arrow going up. Blue arrow going up is a buff, red arrow going down is a debuff. So, pretty straightforward stuff. Double SA, Ice Blade, and I'm going to go back to Snow Silver. Now, we're going to get a lot of essays going forward here. There is some tactic to actually sandbagging a few of these, just so you can keep the MP going, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think we're still going to have plenty to do here. So I'm going to be not aggressive, but certainly not passive about making sure the debuffs are squashed as quickly as they can. Because sometimes what they'll do is they'll actually debuff you, and then before you can remove the debuff, they'll do another. You remove the debuff, they'll do another one right at the end of the turn. It's really super annoying. And no doubt you'll see it in this run. I have it happen almost every single run. Now, those are not glorious numbers, but they're better than what I had been seeing. With the +4 Hestia, they were all right around 250,000. So you had about 75,000 more damage there than what I had before, when I actually beat it for the first time. So if your Hestia is not max limit broken, you can still do this. I did it. I'm proof of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and do Yosuga. Let's go back to doing Cold Rush, Ice Blade, and Snow Silver. We are debuffed on this turn, but I'm not overly worried about that. Once again, I'm probably going to remove debuffs on turn 8, and then we'll just stockpile a few turns. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do Sheikah on this turn, I think. Let's see. 4 turns. Regen, that's not going to get buffed anyway, so yeah, everything should be good on these. Yep. Everything should be good on theirs. Now, the reason that we're going to just keep spamming essays with Bell, if you haven't read what his essay does, and I'm not going to do it on this turn. Ultra Water Physical Attack with Temporary Strength Boost, Ultra and Guard Rate, and Self-Strength, Agility, and Water Damage, 85%. So when he does even base attacks, he'll be doing 85%. But since he's debuffed right now, we're going to do Cold Rush, and then I'm going to go ahead and do Dancing Snow to remove those debuffs. I am doing Sheikah here to get a little bit of a penetration rate and counter rate increase. It's not mandatory, but it'll help out with just general damage production. All right. Great. Looks like Bell does not have any debuffs on him. That's great news. That means we could do an SA in this turn. I'll go back to Snow Silver, Ice Blade, and Yosuga. Let's get it. Now, normally, what I'd see here is about 325 to 350,000 damage. I wonder what he's going to produce with Hestia now max limit broken. Okay. Marginal increase. Not groundbreaking, just marginal increase. That's kind of what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting, a life-changing procedure here. Now, I realize only now that I've been messing up this entire time. Early on in the fight, I should have had Chigusa just doing base attacks to try to save Ice Blade to the end of the fight, because she's going to run out of MP with that. So that is one tactic, if you're watching this now, you could utilize to get a little bit of extra damage. Okay. Bell is once again not debuffed, so I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do with him for the SA gauge. Or I say for the SA gauge, with the SA gauge, technically. We're going to do another SA, so another 375, 380. And that's comfortable. That's going to give us a comfortable win come turn 15. There you go. Once again, I was doing this with 325 to 350 before, so to have the 375 is a very comfortable spot. We might even be able to clear this in turn 14. I doubt it, but... I'm sorry, not turn 14. Turn 20. We're not doing a turn 15 win. My apologies for that. We're absolutely not doing a turn 15 win. I will correct that right now. This is going to be a skin of our teeth type of situation. Absolutely not an S clear. Don't ever come into this thinking we're aiming to S clear this beast. I would love to, but I just don't have the units. I simply do not have the units. And I would argue most people do not have the units. What I want to do is I want to show you guys teams that you could potentially build that would be able to take this on. And then you could use these tactics to move on into Wind Zone and whatever else. I'll show you the team I used for Wind Zone, but it'll also explain how this team can actually translate into a really boss Wind Zone team. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do Dancing Snow because going from this point forward, debuffs make a big difference. So turn 12 is where we start to get kind of serious about this. So I'm going to use Dancing Snow. I'm hopefully going to remove the debuffs. I get the feeling this is where we're going to get the double debuff, but we'll see. Yep, debuffed. And I think that happened after her attack. It did. So that happened after her attack. So I've got to go ahead and do that again. And that actually might be a thing. I think that actually might be... Turn 12 might be a regular for that. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time. Base attacks with her. Yosuga with her. Lego. And this super sucks. I really wish Chigusa had more MP. But it is what it is. I've got to... got to be real here and produce what I can produce to get rid of what we're going to get rid of. Now, if you're wondering why she removes debuffs, it's because status buffs and status debuffs are all go down 2 turns. The long and the short of why that works is because, and if it's not apparently, if it's not immediately obvious, basically they're going to use up 1 turn. It's a 3-turn debuff. And then she takes away 2 more turns. So it's like they expend all 3 turns in that 1 turn. So, good times. We're going to do Sheikah. Yeah, we're well in range there. Yep, and we're going to do another essay with Bell. Okay. I am doing MP building with Winter Haruhime only because I really like to do a little bit more with Chigusa, but we'll see if that's even doable. We'll see if that's even a thing. Ooh. Ooh, one of the dragons guarded. That is not nice. Hold up. He only took 200k where he should have taken 300k. I'm going to go ahead and target him just to get a little bit more damage out of there. We are once again not debuffed, so I can do another essay very comfortably. And Yosuga. Here we go. Now I'm doing a base attack with Chigusa here, and that's fine. I'm going to try to save as much MP as I can, so that maybe in the last 2 turns where we desperately need the damage, we'll get it. Get him, Bell! Get him! Man, he is guarding left, right, and center. He actually might be a problem. I'm going to be real. This dragon has me a little worried. 1.2 mil. Everyone else is... She's 1.3. Okay, not too bad. 1.4. Yeah, not a comfortable situation. That's okay. We're going to do Snow Silver. With any kind of luck, we'll get 2 more essays out of this. I don't have a lot of confidence in that, but with a lot of luck. Alright, so turn 17. So now at this point, we are basically going to be doing Dancing Snow every single turn up until the bitter end. Ice Blade. We're doing SA since we are not debuffed. And I'll basically have 1 more SA at the very, very, very bitter end of this. Now, we'd be a little more comfortable with SAs if we had put Haruhime in the front, but at the same rate, we'd end this with, like, I think 1 move needed to get another SA or something like that. So it's not a preferable situation, but definitely not the, not the end of the world. All right. So Cold Rush, Ice Blade, Dancing Snow, Yosuga. Here we go. All right. Perfect. We'll go ahead and do Snow Illusion. We'll do that. And I think, yeah, we're good. Harahime's attack isn't really going to do anything, but we're at the point now where we're just going to go full offense. Full offense. All right, Belle. We don't need any one of these dragons getting away with getting 250k damage. Get them all, my man. Get them all. There we go. All right. So, Cold Rush and Snow Illusion. Let's do this. Ho, ho, ho. Once again, like I said, skin to the teeth. But we did it. Now, there were a couple of RNG failures in there, and it would have been a lot easier if that weren't the case. But success is success. Like I said, I did it with a +4 Haruhime. It took a couple of tries. That was not a shining example because, frankly, if I'm honest, I wonder if I could have gotten more damage in the long run without using Haruhime's essay, and honestly just doing Belle's essay over and over and over again. That would definitely be a thought process, because if you really math it out, she adds about 50k per hit, and in the end of it, I really think we would have eked out more damage, honestly. But again, it's a lot of that comes down to RNG too. So basically, OG Haruhime, in the front, typically, we had a little bit of a different arrangement here. So your typical arrangement would be, let's go ahead and swap them out. This is your typical arrangement. OG Haruhime in the front, Winter Haruhime in the back, just like we had last time. Okay? You would have then one of the, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put the AOE on, because she's now MLB. There's no reason to keep her off of there. Have your AOE buffer if she's MLB'd. I'm saying AOE debuffer. Have your AOE debuffer on OG Haruhime if, and that's once again a huge if she's max limit broken. If she's not, then you probably want to sack her. But either way. And she doesn't have the most MP, but it's not the end of the world. We're really only using Haruhime for the buff replication to make our lives a little bit easier in that regard. So, and for healing. So a lot of people that would say use Orna on her, yes, but not in this situation. So have OG Haruhime with your AoE debuffer if that AoE debuffer is MLB'd. If she isn't, sack her. As you saw, I was using the free-to-play Freya actually on that OG Haruhime. But basically, for the sake of the argument, we'll just say OG Haruhime, AoE debuffer. Attack unit in the second slot, and whatever assist you need for that. In other words, physical, you'd use Artemis. Magic, you'd use Demeter. But it's got to be someone with a very strong AoE special attack. Slot 3 is going to be Line with whatever type debuffer assist that you would need. In this case, we used free-to-play Freya. So Line, AOE, or I'm sorry, a type debuffer, water debuffer in this case. Winter Haruhime and Casino Seer. Now, turn 2, slot 3. You're basically going to use, in this case we used Goblin Slayer, but you're going to use someone that debuffs physical or magic and or whatever type it is. Like I said, Invincible Tsubaki would be the best for this because she does water and physical. If you have magic, you'd want somebody that does water and magic. I don't know who that is. I never researched that. I honestly don't know if my water team sucks, as you can kind of see. But this is another debuff, so you're going to use your adventure to debuff, and then buff your units with your assist. So in this case, Aina does... actually, I think it's the other way around. I think... which one does the buffing? Anyway, it doesn't matter. These two sack assists, one buffs, one debuffs. So that's really the one thing that matters here. Okay? Then on this final turn, you need someone that gives you 100% SA gauge charge. We could have most likely used the light unit here, but I didn't want to do that because she's MLB'd and Chigusa is water type. So you do that with a Freya assist and the best breastplate you got to keep her alive. That's pretty straightforward. Now, for instance, we could go over here to this build. Build is very... Go into Wind Zone and go to this build. This build is similar-ish. The only difference is I'm not using 100% SA gauge charge. I should, though, but I'm not. With this build, I did something a little bit different. But if you were going to do this build the same way, we'd have OG Haruhime and the AOE debuffer. I'll just go ahead and do that for simplicity's sake. OG Haruhime, AOE debuffer. Now, I'd put Argonaut actually in Krazo's slot. Argonaut in Krazo's slot. Okay? And then obviously put Artemis on him. Now, I have Welf here. And Welf is still getting sacked because he's only +1. Welf will do 33% SA gauge charge as well, but he also does magic, dex, and fire attack damage plus 30%. I'm not going to explain why I was doing this team build. It could sort of be obvious, but it's irrelevant either way. Like, you don't necessarily need to think that too far through. It is what it is. Okay, so Welf does 33% SA gauge charge. I could still use Lead A there. I was just trying to do something silly with it. Then obviously we've got Winter Haruhime with Casino Seer, just like we had last time. Now, this Eyes does physical resist and fire resist 30%. Now, that's nothing that Krazo doesn't do. I could use her or I could use Krazo. I think Krazo does 25%, in fact. Yes. So Krazo does 25%. So a better unit to use there would be that Eyes. And then, obviously, I've got the 2 fire buffers and debuffers on this team in those 2 slots. Hopefully, this is making a lot of sense. Now, on this turn, I wouldn't have Krazo here. What I would do is I would use someone that could produce, once again, there's 2 units that I really have that could do this. And that is either this unit, which I love, I adore, and I use her all the time. This Chione will produce 100% SA gauge increase. Doesn't matter that she's MLB'd because, frankly, she's not going to produce damage because she's a light type. This is a fire type. Or we could use Winter Chigusa, wherever she went. There she is. Once again, you just need someone in the slot that does 100% SA gauge charge. This team could still do the same thing. It's all very, very straightforward. You just need to follow the pattern, and you will find success. We will test this out on the next set of 7th zones as we get them. I apologize this video is out much, much, much later than expected, but I wanted to bring it to you no less. You got about 12 hours. Go. Let me know if you guys have any problems with it. I will continue to refine this, and hopefully we'll have more as 7th zone progresses, because this one kind of threw a monkey wrench in the system for me. But it's good stuff. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.